So, Siobhan, do you want to tell us about your back pain and how much it affected you in the early days?
I think I've suffered from back pain on and off throughout my life because I have been involved with horses and taken bad falls and breaking bones and you name it. But I still continued to work and was very physically active, and it didn't really restrain me in any way. But then I had a car accident and cracked my vertebrae. And I think I was in a brace for 6 months. And I felt I was never the same after that. I felt the pain was worse. I was more reserved in my movement. I was more slow to do anything. And I just felt it became a huge problem after that.
So, in what ways did it affect your life after that?
I definitely wouldn't have worked the same. I was nervous riding horses, and I wouldn't have been as fit. I never really recovered from that, I don't think.
So, do you want to tell us what you were told about the scans for your back?
Well, I went for MRI scans and had to go and see a neurosurgeon, and on advice referred from somebody else, and he read my scan or the MRI, and it told me I was lucky where I broke my back because I had support, but that my vertebrae was permanently crushed. There was nothing I could do about it. They couldn't operate because it was too dangerous, and they could paralyse me, and that my disc was protruding, touching off my spinal cord, and I was so lucky. And he absolutely terrified me. I got such a fright walking out there, I could hardly stand there. I said, oh my God, I am in serious trouble here. I am so, like, this is the real thing. I suppose you hear it from other people and it doesn't make any sense, but when you hear it from a neurosurgeon, that's the real McCoy.
And do you think that might have contributed to you becoming more careful about the way you moved and more
definitely
stiff?
I became paranoid about the whole thing. I don't think my pain was ever as bad as the injury suggested. That's what I felt. But after that, I made sure it was worse. Yeah.
And tell us a little bit then about how you are at the moment and how you got there.
At the moment, I'm flying. I'm working 7 days a week. The only reason I'm not riding as much because I don't have time, but I'd have no problem. I wish I could ride as much. And I'm standing 12 to 13 hours a day, no problem. Standing. Going to kids' activities, cycling. We go for cycles most evenings, and I have no pain, really no pain whatsoever. Once I train myself to deal with it as it starts, I have no pain.
And so when you say you train yourself, what do you mean? What have you done and how has it helped you?
Well, I'd have a trigger, and I think the one thing I notice is a strain on my face. I can either see it in the mirror or when I'm sitting down, my face is, and I'm tense. And that's the start. And if you don't nip that in the bud, it travels all the way down. But it's just a simple thing of letting yourself go floppy and relaxing, let your whole body relax. And
so do you feel
and
that...
no fear. Yeah.
So you feel that a big part of your recovery has been gaining control of your stress, your emotions?
Oh, absolutely. I find an instant connection to when I'm stressed, to the whole body tensing up, and I'm carrying myself differently, and it travels all the way down from my mouth. I can feel it, and before I wouldn't even have noticed that. Whereas now, even in bed, I'd have to count to 3 and say, God, let yourself go, and instantly, there's instant relief. It's amazing, yeah.
And if you looked at, we'll say, all the treatments you had received, tell me about some of the kind of treatments you've had in the past and how much they helped.
I've had everything from chiropractors, horse chiropractors. I've had so many different treatments in England. I've been to quacks, wine diviners or water diviners. I've had more people twisting and turning my back down through the years. I've lost count.
And how much help did any
I've
of
been
these
to
treatments?
neurologist, back specialist. I've been to everything.
And how much help would these treatments have been?
I think it was actually worse, it made me, because you're trying to tell yourself after a few clicks and that this disc has gone in and that and different things that you're better, and you don't feel any better. If anything, it's worse the day or two after, and that psychologically gets you more down because you don't feel, oh God, this isn't going to work, and then you're looking for the next cure and you're looking for the next treatment and you're listening to anybody that's been any place to see if it'll help you. Yeah.
So at this stage, do you think it's safe for you to work the way you are, to be physically active, and what do you think the future holds for you?
Well, I think the more active I am, and unfortunately I don't get swimming as much as I want to, but I feel the busier I am, the easier it is. It's definitely it's definitely a lot easier. And the future, I think, I'd love to be working more with horses, which is actually more physical, and you're lifting buckets and you're jumping up and down horses. But the only reason I'm not doing that is because my other business is taking off with baking, which is just as physical with your hands and your upper body, and you're standing all the time. So I think the future is wide open to whatever I want to do.